If you're on the fence about getting your first dental microscope, pause for a moment. When I bought my first microscope 20 years ago, I thought I was doing something just to improve my endodontics. But what I got was something that completely transformed both my professional and my personal life. In this video, I want to share 5 things that I really wish someone had told me when I was buying the microscope so that you don't have to go through the same mistakes, delays, and regrets that I went through. Hi, I'm Dr. Siju Jacob. I've been using the surgical microscope in my private practice for more than 20 years, and I've also been training dentists how to use the microscope in everyday clinical dentistry for more than 10 years. This video is about everything I wish someone had told me when I was getting started. The first thing I wish I knew was microscope changes more than just your dentistry. When I first purchased the microscope 20 plus years ago, the reason I bought it was because I wanted to do something in endodontics. I wanted to do complex procedures that I couldn't do with the naked eye or even loupes, for example, removing broken instruments. So the technical aspects was the only reason I bought a microscope. But once I started using a microscope for an extended period of time, I found that there were so many other benefits which I didn't realize at that point in time. What were those benefits? Well, first of all, my posture improved. I didn't really buy microscopes purely for the ergonomics, but once I started implementing certain measures, I realized that ergonomics was a huge benefit. I saw a lot of my colleagues were suffering from physical injuries, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years and I don't have any injuries whatsoever. So that was one big bonus that I didn't realize at that point in time. The second is the increased confidence, because as I started using the microscope, I was doing things which most of my colleagues weren't doing, and all that put together improved my confidence over a long period of time. Third thing was recognition from both my patients as well as my colleagues. So again, I didn't buy the microscope hoping that some people will recognize me, but that's exactly what happened after a few years. And finally, the stronger personal brand. My whole brand has been mingled with endodontics and microscopes. And once I started teaching dentists, which again started without any planning, but once I started doing this for a few years, and now it's 10 plus years, I became known as this dentist who trains other dentists in microscopes. And my whole personal brand as a teacher came about because of the surgical microscope. So these are some of the things that I didn't realize when I was buying a microscope. Or you can say all the domino habits that came into my life because I started using the surgical microscope. The second thing that I didn't realize at that point in time was you just can't buy a microscope and bring it into your operatory and plug and play. I had no clue. I just bought this microscope. The microscope dealer came to my clinic, assembled the microscope, and I was completely clueless. The microscope disrupted my entire workflow, and it was extremely frustrating. And no one told me this, that when you buy a microscope, it's not just about the microscope. You have to plan and see what kind of chair you have in your operatory, what kind of X-ray machine you have, how exactly is bringing in this microscope influencing the rest of the factors in your operatory. So those things I wish I knew when I bought the microscope so that I could plan better and I would be less frustrated in my initial years when I was trying to learn how to use the surgical microscope. So that's the second thing I wish I knew 20 years ago. The third thing that I learned is integration takes time. When you buy a microscope and you start using it in your practice, it takes some time to get used to it. And of course, training is really important. When I bought a microscope, I was under the illusion that I would just buy it and then I would get going in no time. I would start doing all kinds of crazy procedures, but it took me some time. Whenever we are learning something new, we need to spend time. We need to allocate some time. There has to be some methodology. Ideally, you would like a mentor who would guide you step by step, and then you start doing the easy things first. Before you start learning how to sprint, you need to learn how to crawl, how to get up, how to start walking, and then you start running. But in my case, I wanted to do everything really fast. So that's the other thing no one told me. I wish I had taken it step by step, and I wish I had a mentor to guide me every step so that I don't get frustrated. I would get frustrated if I wasn't moving forward in a month or two. If things weren't going according to plan, I would get very, very frustrated. But the good news is most of the learning curve is in the beginning. So as you get used to it, you just become better and better. But there is a process involved. And I wish that someone told me this 20 years ago. It would have made my life a little more easier. The fourth thing that I wish I knew was documentation is an absolute game changer. When I bought my microscope, I didn't attach a camera to the microscope because I thought, let me just get used to this first. And I didn't buy a camera for almost 3 years. And it was only after almost 3 years that I started documenting. I started taking pictures through the surgical microscope. And once I started doing that, I saw how it influenced patient conversions. I could post these things on social media or use it in lectures. And that, the whole thing, when I started sharing those pictures with patients, it really improved my private practice in terms of conversions. And then I was using these in lectures, and that propelled me into this whole arena of being a lecturer in the lecture circuit. And then I became known as a teacher. So all those things came about because of documentation. And once I saw these benefits, I really, really regretted not getting into documentation from day one and kind of delaying this. So if I had someone to guide me maybe 20 years ago, I wouldn't have wasted 3 years. I would have started documenting in the very first month. So that's the other thing that I wish someone had told me. And the fifth thing that I wish I knew was the hardest part when it comes to learning dental microscope or incorporating the microscope in everyday clinical practice is getting started. Like most things, I started my private practice in 2001, and I eventually bought my microscope only in 2004 towards the end. I debated almost 4 years, all kinds of questions. Is it really worth it? Or do I really need to spend so much money because nobody else is using it? Is it worth all the hassle? All kinds of doubts. And then you keep postponing because you have all these questions and doubts. And I really wish that someone told me all those years ago, just get started and most of your questions will get solved immediately once you get going. The difficult part is to get going. And this is the same thing we hear from virtually every student who comes. I've been training dentists for more than 10 years, and we get dentists who are in all kinds of stages in their careers. Some of them have finished 5 years, some have finished 10 years, some 15 years. We even have practitioners who've come to me when they finished almost 30 years in private practice. And irrespective of the number of years, one dialogue you hear all the time is, man, I really wish I had started this earlier. I don't know why I delayed it so much. So yeah, my advice to those of you who are hesitating is, if you have so many questions about this thing and that thing and 101 doubts about the microscope, the most difficult part is to actually get started. And once you get started, the rest will take care of itself. All those problems that you kept worrying about will get solved one by one. The most difficult part is actually getting started. So if there is a voice within you, that tiny little voice within you saying, maybe I should try the microscope, then listen to it and just get started. That's the most important thing. If you are someone who is very serious about incorporating the surgical microscope in your existing general dentistry practice, then do check out my online course. I designed it specifically for general dentists. It teaches you everything from step by step in a very structured manner. Do head over to the link that comes in the description and have a look. You will get a free preview of the course. You'll get access to some free modules as well. And I really hope that it is something that motivates you to take that first step towards integrating the surgical microscope in your general dentistry practice. If you like the video, then don't forget to share with your friends. Click on that subscribe button so that you get notified every time I post a new video. And I'll see you next week with another video.